we found that, when an uninsured patient becomes a member of a practice, that patient on average spends between 2 to 3.5 times more.
Hey, ambitious dentist, welcome to Start Your Dental Practice, the show for existing and aspiring dentists to take your dental practice to the highest possible level. I'm your host, Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV, founder of dentistmetrics.com. Every episode, we aim to demystify the how to start a dental practice problem by bringing on world-class dentists, influencers, and consultants in the dental industry to pick their brain about how to get past the barriers involved from going from no practice to being a practice owner to owning your own successful dental practice.
Hello, ambitious dentist. Today, I have a really fun episode for you. We have with us Mr. Jordan Comstock of boomcloudapps.com, the Boom Cloud software. If you're not familiar, Jordan was on our podcast about 2.5 years ago, and he introduced us to a product that I believe I said at that time. If I didn't, I'm going to tell you now. If I owned a dental practice, I would be using a software like Boom Cloud. I would have an in-house membership plan, and I would use a software to help facilitate the management and the nuts and bolts of that plan, because it's really surprising, but over half of the United States does not have dental insurance. So you've got literally, if there's 330 million people in the US, that means there's 165 million people out there that don't have dental insurance that are probably looking for a way to maybe have a tie to a dental practice, maybe not look for like a deal, but they're looking for a way to actually be able to be a part of a practice and be able to start a relationship with a dental practice, but they're afraid that since they don't have dental insurance, they can't be helped, where you could then offer them that membership plan and bring them into the practice and allow them to feel a part of that and feel protected for their dental needs. Jordan, thank you so much for coming on today. I really glossed over what Boom Cloud does for you, but I wanted to paint the picture that for people that are out there, that membership plans are things that work. I've seen them work in clients of ours from our CPA firm. And anytime I hear someone saying that they're going to try and do it on their own, I'm like, hey, you guys need to go check out Boom Cloud and go talk to Jordan. So Jordan, why don't you introduce us to yourself and introduce us to Boom Cloud?
Yeah, well, Jonathan, thanks for having me on the show, man. It's I can't believe it's been 2.5 years, but I'm excited to hang out and talk about how we can help dental practices.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why we're in it. So membership programs, I'm kind of obsessed. I think more so now than I ever been. But membership programs are awesome because, like you said, there's over half the United States doesn't have dental insurance, and we all know that when you go into the dentist and the patient says, they either say, do what my insurance covers, or I don't have dental insurance, so I probably can't go see the dentist. That's what patients are thinking, right? And the cool thing is membership programs, can help a practice combat those mindsets, right? And help educate the patients so they can get the quality care that they need, right? And, we started Boom Cloud years ago, and, it's basically a platform that helps practices create, organize, track, and automate a dental membership program so that you can generate predictable recurring revenue, which I would imagine, Jonathan, that, if any business has some type of, predictable recurring revenue, that's a good thing for the business. And I'm sure you look at all the finances and all the money side of things, and recurring revenue is a huge benefit, for especially a dental practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So have you seen much? I mean, I'm just curious now. Have you seen much? You said you had a few clients that you have a membership program. I don't know like how big their membership programs are, but have you seen that the recurring revenue is a benefit for practice owners?
Yeah. So what our clients like about the membership element of it is that they have a group of patients that are aligned with their practice, that they know are going to be coming in. They know they're likely going to be coming in for their hygiene appointments, and they know that whenever they introduce treatment to them, that they are more likely to accept it because they're getting that in-house discount.
Sure.
And that's what they like about it. In terms of,
Sure.
the size and scope of the practice, we don't have any clients that are, it's like the only people in the practice that come in are the people on the plan. But we definitely see people that are using it and it's allowing them to create more predictability in their revenue,
Sure.
which is what, a lot of dental practices struggle with. I say all the time that the good months in dentistry help less than the bad months hurt in dentistry. So you always want to make sure that floor, you want to make sure the floor of your monthly revenue is as high as possible. And I think membership plans can help with that. Definitely more than, having, insurance, because, I said in the intro that, over half Americans have insurance, but, the other half, does have insurance. And it's funny, you hear all these people talking about all the time how they want to be able to reduce the amount they're having to take cuts on their reimbursements. And it's crazy because, I think last time I heard it's been something like, if you look at like the cost of living versus inflation, all these other things, like basically reimbursements haven't gone up in like 10 or 20 years for the most part.
Yeah. They never go up. They just keep squeezing harder and harder on these dental practices, and paying less and less, which is insane. Because like you said, costs of living has increased, cost to employ people has increased, since insurance has really come into the dental industry, which is insane to me that they've been able to have that much influence and control over an industry. It's kind of wild, if you ask me. But like you said, practices need predictability in regards to every business needs some type of predictability, if you ask me, in regards to cash flow and revenue and things like that. And I remember I used to manage a dental lab. I don't know if you knew that, Jonathan. That's my background, and it followed the financial trends of a dental practice, because we obviously were selling to practices. And I remember all the time seeing feast and famine months, in the dental industry, where it's like, okay, this month, like, we're killing it. We're selling a bunch of crowns that, all our practices are placing crowns and dentures and all that stuff. And then like the next quarter, it was like crickets, right? Just feast and famine. It kind of was crazy. And that's something that I think in dentistry, if you can create a practice that, has a predictable revenue stream and an increased loyal patient base, that's really the goal, in my opinion, in really any business. But I guess, Jonathan, we probably should take a step back, and for those people that may not know what a membership program is, I probably should define it. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, for those, because I know it's still somewhat of a new concept out there, and there's obviously a good amount of practices that are doing this. But for those that don't know, a membership program is basically a set of plans that your practice creates, and your patients sign up and pay like a monthly or yearly fee to get access to certain benefits and discounts that your practice creates, and offers to the patients, primarily the uninsured patients. I like to talk about it as it's like Amazon Prime, but built for your dental practice.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is, Jonathan, what we found, we've done a lot of research on the data in regards to uninsured patients. We found that, when an uninsured patient becomes a member of a practice, that patient on average spends between 2 to 3.5 times more on treatment than a non-member, which is kind of cool, right? Because you're getting a predictable recurring revenue stream from that type of patient, and they end up spending more. Do you have Amazon Prime, Jonathan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so when you got Amazon Prime, what did you do after? Did you find that you spend more with Amazon?
Well, it's always the first place. It's the first place I go to look for pretty much anything.
Yeah, likewise. You're probably like me. You get like the daily, package on your porch. You get home from your office. You're like, oh, there's my Amazon package, right? So it's the same concept, right? Because when a patient feels like they're getting a good deal and they're getting taken care of, they're going to say yes, more to treatment and all that fun stuff there. So that's kind of that's my definition of a membership program, and what how to think about it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And, why don't you tell me about, as far as for the people out there that are saying that when I said, hey, the insurance is something that I want to stop taking such a big cut on my, my reimbursements.
Sure.
How do membership plans help with that?
Yeah, no, that's an awesome question, because I think, every single practice that comes to us and asks, their goal is to reduce dependence on PPOs, right? Because PPOs are squeezing harder and harder, right? It's getting harder your claims are getting denied, rejected, delayed, and you're getting less and less from insurance companies. So the first thing that most practices do, right, to combat that is, they start a membership program, right? And if they really want to cut out some of the PPOs that may be causing them problems, or paying them less, starting a membership program and marketing to the uninsured firstly is the easiest way to roll it out. So most practices, Jonathan, they have like Dentrix or EagleSoft or whatever practice management software they're using. You can actually pull a report, go into your practice management software, pull a report, and see what percentage of uninsured patients they have in their office and who they are. I would start marketing to those types of patients and get a pretty good amount of cash flow coming in before you say no to a PPO, right? That's kind of how we advise practices on doing it, because there's practices that are getting so fed up with insurance companies and all the red tape and hassle that they bring to the table that they end up just cutting them like overnight, and it's a problem, right? Because then all of a sudden they may not be equipped with the right soft skills to convince a patient to stay with them, instead of going down to the street to the dentist that's on the PPO network, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I say, it's very smart to get a solid, predictable, recurring revenue stream in. For example, can I tell you a story, Jonathan?
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically, there's this practice on the East Coast that works with us, and that was their goal. They're like, man, we're so sick of dental insurance. We just want to be able to create a system, a platform that we have. So when we start cutting these PPOs off and getting rid of the contracts, that we have some that we have some guaranteed revenue to come in and help us as we are making the transition, right? And I think they started from zero. They didn't have any members, when they started out, because they're starting from scratch. And they went from like a year from zero to, I think, a little over 500 patients, which equates to like, I think like $15,000, $12,000 to $15,000 a month of predictable automatic revenue. And now they're able to, a year later, now they're like, okay, now we feel, a little more confident that we could cut out a few more PPOs, and we feel like we're not going to, have a big of a hit, right? And the other thing is, for practices that once they become, out of network, a membership program is great to help retain those patients that may have a PPO plan but like going to that office, and allows them to get some, extra benefits for going to an out of network, benefits and discounts for going to out of network office. But that's kind of my viewpoint on how, if a practice is wanting to transition out, make sure you got a solid revenue stream from a membership program, sure, so that you can feel comfortable cutting.
Here's a common question I get whenever I talk to people saying, because a lot of owners will ask me, what would you do if you're in my situation? And most of the time my answer is like, I'm a CPA. I don't own a dental practice. I'm not a dentist. And so yeah, I don't really know like exactly what I would do in your specific situation, because everybody's situation is a little bit different and nuanced. But I would have a membership plan opportunity in my office just so that I could have something to build on. Because to me, it's almost like a game. Like how many people can get signed up on this thing? And yeah, it's one of those things that if you're getting more people signed up on it than you have leaving the plan, then you're building almost a whole new revenue model inside of your office, which is really cool. I mean,
absolutely.
In like physician practices, I've got a really good friend. He's a radiologist, super smart guy, and cool, I was complaining about one of my the wait we had at one of our doctors because my daughters had strep a whole bunch and all this other stuff, and we've been really frustrated with our doctor, and I had strep at one point, and so I went out to the doctor and get it, and it took forever. It was an awful experience, and this guy is a radiologist, super smart guy. And he was like, hey, I use this person and I pay her like a fee every year. And she's the smartest doctor I know. And I mean, obviously this guy is a guy who's gone through med school. And he was like, and it's just the same fee every year. And like, I get house calls, I get all this cool stuff with it. And like, it's just, I pay her this much money and I don't pay for office visits. And so it's like basically like a membership plan for a physician.
That's exactly one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, that's such a smart thing. Cause I don't know how much he said he pays for it. Maybe it was a lot more than what, you pay for a dental membership typically. I think it was
Yeah. I've seen those plans. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I think it was like $1,200 or something like that. If you think about that in the terms of the physician, if you have 100 patients, I mean, how often are they going to be calling you every month? And that's $120,000 and you have almost no overhead. You don't have an office, all those other things. So, if you get 1,000 patients, you got 1.2 million. At that point, you're probably gonna be busy, but you're making pretty good money for a physician, and to not have very much overhead. Now that being said, that is why I like that model, because you can start building up like the number of how many is coming on, how many are leaving. And it's a different model than just have, how many patients are coming in. It's kind of like almost like a side model. But the question that I usually get after I say that is, well, the people that I would assume are the people I'm going to be adding to this are the people that don't already have insurance, because they're going to be people that would want it. But the people that don't have insurance are people that are already paying me the most amount of money. So they're like, I don't want to give those people an opportunity to have a discount because they're already paying me better fees. So how do you?
Sure. Yeah, that's common.
How do you combat that?
Yeah. So I think that's a great question. People ask us that all the time. And I usually tell them this, like, okay, would you rather have, most patients that are uninsured don't go to the dentist, like an insured patient does. Right. So they're not all of them are going twice a year. I know, because I'm an uninsured patient and I talk to other uninsured patients, and most of the time they go when
I'm uninsured.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time when they go when it hurts or maybe they have a connection with that office, or something like that, from what I've seen out there. So I always ask a practice, like, okay, well, how do we get these people in a lot more? Because obviously if they come in on a more regular basis, you're going to generate more business from them, right? And on the side note is, would you rather have transactional revenue or a predictable recurring revenue stream from those patients? Because you're still collecting from them. And then the stats that I mentioned before, when an uninsured patient becomes a member, they end up spending 2 to 3.5 times more with the practice. So technically, if the membership program in this, let's say it's a fee for service office, they implement a membership program based off of what we're tracking in the industry, we've found that those patients spend more. Right. Which is kind of weird, because, as a dentist, you may be thinking, well, I'm giving like a 10 to 20% discount on these services, but you're actually getting more volume, which brings in more revenue, right, from that particular patient base. So that's kind of how I would, advise practices. Think about the predictable recurring revenue, and then think about what that loyalty is going to bring revenue wise to the practice. You're actually not cutting out, a lot from the 100% cash paying patients. They're still paying money to get those services, and then on top of it, they ended up spending more because they feel like, well, I'm on this membership program, I'm getting some deals, I might say yes to the 2 crowns I need today, versus if they're on an insurance plan, then the patient may say, just do what my insurance covers. It's like, well, you can't even get 1 crown, you need 2 crowns, right? So there's that's kind of how I would advise practices to think. Does that make sense, Jonathan?
Yeah, it does. So look at it in more of terms of, by having them on the plan, you're going to be upping their, number one, predictability. And number 2, you're going to be upping the likelihood of them saying yes to a treatment plan.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. I know that there's, it's a bit of a leap of faith type thing, because, if you're going to start offering that to some patients, then, you never know what's going to happen. Are there any rules as far as like do you have to offer this to all patients, or like, maybe that's a state by state thing, or?
Yeah, that's a state by state thing. But I would say, Most states, I would say, that have like marketing rules that are defined, usually say if you're going to offer something to your patient base, you can't like exclude people from it, unless for some reason that like a PPO contract says you can't offer a membership program to a contracted, which I don't think I've ever seen that, but I guess it could happen really if you think about it. But yeah, I don't think there's technically you can offer it to any patient, even if they have insurance. Let's say a patient reaches their maximum on their insurance plan, but they still need work done. They technically can, sign up for a membership program and get more work done, right? And some better deals. So yeah, I mean, offer it to all your patients, even if, even if they do have dental insurance. You never know if they're going to lose insurance or if they hit their maximum and still need a lot of work done, or if they have family members or friends that don't have dental insurance that, they can basically refer your membership program to their family and friends.
Very cool. Yeah. So, in terms of some of the more successful implementations of membership plans, I mean, what are some of the best practices for people that are doing this? I mean, and I guess as a preface to that question is, what usually drives what's the main driver for people starting a membership plan? Because I've got just as many people that I say that love the membership plans. I've also got some clients that have said, I tried it and it didn't work.
Didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what drove those people to those places? And then what were some of the ways that people were successful in that implementation?
Absolutely. I mean, this is what we study all the time. I have a whole team that looks at basically customer success studies and stuff like that every day. So what the majority of practices that come and talk to us, they want two things, right? Or maybe there's four things really, if you think about it. The first one is I want to reduce dependence on PPOs, right? That's their mindset. I want to grow a membership program and grow a recurring revenue stream for the practice. I want to increase patient loyalty, and I want to increase case acceptance and stuff like that, right? So that's the mindset in the beginning. But the practices that are successful, like you said, there's some that you've talked to that said, yeah, this is great, and others that say just didn't work for us, right? And that may be a demographic thing, in your local area. But the ones that are successful, this is what they do. So we have practices right now that are generating 30, 40, 50K a month in predictable recurring revenue. They've got over 2,000 active patients, on these plans. These are like the really successful ones. And what they've done is they have a growth mindset, right? The ones that probably aren't successful will put a membership program in place in the practice, but then they don't say a word about it to their patients. And maybe organically they get, 15, 20 people on board, and then they can't grow from there. The guys that have thousands of active patients on the membership program, they, number one, their team is on board and they understand the benefits both to the practice and for the patient. And they talk to every single patient that comes in their office, whether they have insurance or not. And they've got signs about their membership program in place in every operatory in the front desk that both educate and call to action, right? They give the patient a call to action. And the next thing they do is they, after talking to every patient and making it really obvious that they have a membership program, right? That's the thing. In any marketing situation, you want to make it really obvious. And the practices that are successful do that. They also spend some money on external marketing, right? Because a membership program is not only, a way to attract uninsured and use it as a marketing tool, right? And most people think of it as like, well, I just want to get rid of my insurance, but they don't think of it as a marketing path, right? To attract new patients. So these practices that are successful, they use direct mail marketing or Facebook ads to, attract more uninsured patients to their office when they sign them up for a membership program. And then when we interview a practice that is successful, it's really simple. They look at the calendar each day of the patients that come in and they say, okay, who's insured, who's uninsured? and they find out every day who's uninsured coming in, and then they basically sell those patients on the membership program. On average, these practices are signing up like 2 patients per day, which ends up like around 40 patients per month. And at the end of the year, it's like 500 per year, right? So, and it's just the small details that they're doing. They're just saying who's uninsured and who can we talk to every day and get them to sign up. And they do that, right? That's pretty, success is really simple if you think about it. The practices that are successful membership programs do little things each day, and just talking to patients and getting them to sign up instead of passively thinking it's going to grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I tell everybody that if I were trying to implement it, I would have like a monthly goal for my employees to hit. And
Absolutely,
be like, okay, we want to hit like 40. Like this month, our number is 40. We want 40 patients on the membership plan. If we hit that, I'll give everybody a $25 Amazon gift card, and then have like a stretch goal. And be like, if we hit 60, I'll give everybody a $100 gift card or something like that.
Sweet.
That's what I tell people to do as far as like, it's a way to like centralize on the month, and then in the back, whenever their office, wherever the break room is, have like that on the whiteboard, have it to where, okay, we're at 0 here at the beginning of the month. We got to get to 60 or get to 40 or whatever it is. And then like, they can, every day they can track it, and they have like a pace, and they can have actual to see if like they're on pace or not. And I do that same thing.
We have practices that do that too. And we do recommend incentivizing, the team to do that. Because realistically, a team member is not going to, most likely is not going to do things just out of the kindness of their heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they want a piece of the action too, at least, the ones that are more aggressive and could really help grow really anything. But yeah, you want to be able to incentivize the team. I agree with that 100%. And we do have a handful of our successful officers. Yeah.
Having
you
a
can
team
cheer
goal
the
makes
team,
it
right?
way more fun. Yeah. Like it's fun to get to celebrate the wins. And if you don't, I tell also the people this, like, if they don't get it, like if they don't get the win, then the fun thing should be trying to figure out why they didn't get the win, and then trying to work on it the next time so they can get it. Like, I see a lot of people saying like, they didn't get it the first time, so they got dejected and never tried again. It's like, well, that's the time
and that happens a lot.
as a leader.
Yeah, that happens a lot in practices. I mean, we see practices that obviously are successful and some that aren't as successful all the time. And
sure,
we find the ones that are successful, they don't really have a clear plan. They're not taking like small daily action, like looking at the calendar and seeing who's uninsured and approaching those people. They just kind of passively go through their day, and they don't have a real good strategy. And I think that's key. That's key to anything, really. If you want to grow something or increase revenue in any aspect of the business, like actively thinking about it, actively taking action is really the key. And if you think about it, it doesn't take much effort. It just takes consistent effort from what I've seen out there.
Cool. So we talked a bit about the people that are wanting to do this, and like the typical type of practice that a membership plan might be good for. We talked about implementing it and getting your team around you and things like that. Using it as a tool to help dependency on insurances, things like that. So the last thing I want to touch on kind of quickly is, what about like the details of like how the membership plan works? With the membership plan, you get 2, office visits, a set of x-rays a year, and 10% off of our fee schedule, or like, what about the details of those things? Like, how important are those pieces of it? Like, is that something that BoomCloud helps you figure out? Because to me, I'm like a details guy. Like, I love sitting down and thinking about like, okay, I'm going to move this around. I'm going to add this here, and we're going to optimize this. And like, I think I rethink our pricing packages for our CPA services like once a month, and then I never do it because I'm like, it's working now. I don't need to reprice it. It's just we don't need all these different tiers and stuff like that. We'll just offer this one service and be good with it. But if I were to sit down and try and think about like how to set a membership plan for my office, I would just go nuts in the details. So how do people tackle that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. Yes, we do help with that. We got trained people, and we actually have a system in our software that basically takes all the plans that are successful across the nation and presents them to like a new practice that's maybe signed up with us and they're looking to launch a membership program and says, hey, look, these are the plans that are really successful. You can take these as is. What that looks like is maybe it's $350 a year for like pricing wise, and then that comes with 2 cleanings, 2 exams, some X-rays, and some maybe like 10 to 20% off, procedures like crowns, bridges, dentures, things like that, right? And obviously, the nice thing is the practice can really create it however they want, right? But if you were to ask me, the practices that are really successful keep it extremely simple, right? They have
Sure.
one monthly plan and one yearly plan that basically they just have the same benefits. They're just different payment terms. And you want to keep it simple. I mean, I've seen practices that have like 10 to 15 different plans that they're offering to patients. And I'm going to be honest, those offices don't do well because their patients, there's too much. It's too overwhelming to the patient. And it's also too overwhelming to, have the team educate on all 10 to 15 different plans, right? So, I mean, if I were to advise people, Jonathan, I'd say keep it really simple. You don't need to complicate these things, but make sure that that your plans are auto renewing and auto billing the patients. And think like Amazon Prime, right? Amazon's not going to call you up, Jonathan, and be like, "Yo, Jonathan, your card looks like it's about to expire. Can we update a card?" No, it's automatic, right? You'll get emails, you get text messages, and may even use ACH to collect your payment, which that's obviously a feature inside of Boom Cloud that people can do. But I think, if you're going to do it, make sure it's a solid system that automates billing, automates, auto renews contracts and things like that. It helps you create a machine in your practice. A revenue machine is what I like to call it in your practice versus like a manual process of managing a membership program. It's just if you're really serious about it, you want to turn it into a system, not just a manual process that your front office hates.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. So I love it. As I said at the beginning of the call, if I owned a dental practice, one of the things I would have in my office is a membership plan, because that's just how my mind works. It makes sense to me.
Me too, but I'm biased, I think.
I think we both are a little bit, because I run a CPA firm as fixed fee pricing, and so we just we have like a subscription model as well. So it's almost like you have a membership plan.
Oh, cool.
Being a part of our firm.
So you get it, yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. I understand it. So I guess that I naturally gravitate towards the things that I understand. So we've talked about a lot of the details of it. The one detail we hadn't talked about is, once you got all this going, how do you manage it? And I know that Boom Cloud does a really good job with that. I know we've got clients that we share that have great things to say about Boom Cloud. And so, just to kind of touch on that real quick before we send it off, talk about how Boom Cloud helps people manage the membership plan, as well as how to get in contact with you, find out more about Boom Cloud, and things like that.
Sure. Yeah. So Boom Cloud is a web app, that you can use in your practice. And basically we've got a dashboard that tracks all of so the app automates all the payments. We have a plan builder that allows you to build plans or use our templates that are proven in the market. And we have a dashboard that tracks, everything from monthly recurring revenue to annual recurring revenue, active member patients, canceled member patients. And the cool thing is we've seen on our platform that the yearly attrition or churn rate is what we call it. It is like less than 0.5%, which is really, really good in a subscription model.
Mm-hmm.
We track all those things in the dashboard, and then we have a patient financing tool in the app, as well as like an online bill pay where patients can pay, on the website online. But really the core of our product is membership management, right? We have some features that allow you to manage all the members, some auto billing, as well as like, let's say a patient, the credit card doesn't go through for a few months. Like our system keeps track of that. And when they update a new credit card, it'll ask the office if they want to basically catch them. We call them catch-up payments. Catch them up or just continue moving forward. Obviously, the smart ones push catch-up payments and collect all of them, right? So we got some pretty cool systems to automate collections and things like that, and some ACH features. We integrate into most of the majority banks in the United States for ACH payment, and things like that. And then we integrate into the practice's website, so patients can sign up for the plans online. Patients can also see the patient dashboard, what they're getting for the plan, what benefits they've used up and things like that. But yeah, it's just a system to basically manage the subscription dentistry, that's becoming so popular. And anyone wants to contact me. Well, the first thing I'd like to offer, we have if you go to our website, we've got a book that people can download. It's just any page on our website, there's a pop-up. You can download that book, as well as we do have a course. We call it the Boom Cloud University. If you use our platform, there's a course that teaches everything about membership programs, from the basics to, how to market, how to sell it, things like that. But, if anyone wants to contact me or my team, just go to our website, boomcloudapps.com or boomcloud.com. And you can schedule a demo and see, a live demo of our platform and see if it's a fit for your practice, as well as we've got tons of content and resources on our website to read from and to get educated about the membership space, the subscription dentistry space. Yeah.
I love it. And you guys also have a podcast as well, right?
Yeah. So I always forget to mention that. We have a podcast. Just go to sayno2ppos.com. It's the Navigating Dental Insurance podcast. I do it with my co-host Ben Tuine, who helps negotiate your reimbursements with insurance companies. Very hard job. I would not have fun doing that, but Ben does a good job. So yeah, we do that podcast as well. And if anyone wants to reach out and ask me any questions, you can do so at Jordan, Jordon, at boomcloudapps.com. Happy to answer any questions.
Awesome. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for your time again. Everybody, as always, please reach out to Jordan and look at Boom Cloud. It's a really cool app. It's very future facing. It's not one of these old dusty softwares that are out there in the dental tech space. So it's a really good one. And Jordan works really hard out in the industry. He's one of the good guys out there that does want dentists to do better. So we always like him to be on the podcast, and we're glad he's a friend of ours. So guys, thanks so much for your time. We will catch you on the next episode, and don't forget to go out there and start your dental practice. So that's it for today's episode, but that doesn't mean that the learning and implementation have to stop there. I've created a free report called The 15 Numbers That Will Make or Break Your Dental Practice. This report has been downloaded over 1,000 times by dental professionals. So if you want your free copy of this report that's going to outline what the most important numbers are in any dental practice, and it also includes how to look at your numbers, how to set goals, has a whole slew of really important information that is the culmination of all of my experience as a dental CPA, then just go to startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. That is startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. And so that's it for today, Ambitious Dentist. Again, I'm Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV. I'll see you next week with another world-class practice owner or consultant that will help you start your very own dental practice.